Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street.
Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon routine. Okay. Trying to get all sorted out to make sure my guests are able to get in here. We've been having a little challenge with getting them on the stream, and so I'm hoping that they will be able to join us any moment now. They've been having some challenges getting on, and it's trying to help them out. All right, so today we're going to be talking about lawlessness and Abacos, and hopefully, if she can get her technical challenges sorted out, we'll be joined by the head of the Abacos Chamber of Commerce. That would be the person of Daphne. And in addition to Daphne de Gregory Mayalis, we're hopefully also going to have Kai Mills join us on the broadcast. I'm not sure what's happening there, but they're both having a little challenge getting onto the stream. So hopefully, fingers crossed, because I didn't plan for anything else, they'll both be able to get on as quickly as possible so we can have this conversation about what in the world is going on in Abacos. So while we wait for them to get on, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that'll be sooner than later, because they are having some challenges over there. Let's go ahead and throw out the contact information as to what you can do to become a part of this conversation as well. So, as always, the numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, the WhatsApp line for text messages and calls is 8010271, 8010271. You can call and text us on that line. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM Facebook pages, as well as on our YouTube channels. And you can also download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. Or you can visit us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974, and watch us there. Of course, we're on radio. Global 99.5 FM is the place to find us on the dial here in New Providence. And then we also have our show is airing live out of Grand Bahama as well. And so a huge welcome to all of you coming in from Grand Bahama. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show. Now, I see Daphne is in, so let's see if we can get her in on the stream. Daphne, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
We can hear you perfectly. Okay. So Daphne's going to do this broadcast without turning on her camera.
I'll turn on the camera in a minute.
Okay, she's gonna. All right, she's gonna turn on the camera in a minute, but for now it'll be just her voice. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me.
All right, so Daphne, like I said, is the head of the Chamber of Commerce there in Abacos, and it caught my eye because usually when I do a show about stuff that's happening in Abacos that shouldn't be happening, my go-to person is Kai Mills. But what caught my eye was an article that appeared in one of the dailies, in which they interviewed Daphne in her capacity as the head of the Chamber of Commerce in Abacos. And she was talking about the fact that there is so much lawlessness happening in Abacos as it relates to these makeshift businesses setting up all over the place. No law order seems to be happening. The relevant authorities either don't know or don't care or a combination of both. And it's putting those business persons in particular who are trying to do things the right way at a disadvantage. And I do believe, and I dare say that this is just a symptom of the overall, I'm trying to find the right word, but it's like they've allowed Abacos to disintegrate into this entity that is no longer what Abacos is known for. Abacos, for those of you who don't know, was known to be one of the key jewels in the crown of the Islands of the Bahamas in terms of its natural beauty, in terms of its economic prowess. Abacos was one of the most successful islands, or the Abacos is one of the most successful chain of islands within the Commonwealth of the Bahamas as it relates. Pardon me? As it relates to their economy. Picturesque, beautiful. I mean, just a gift from God that Abacos were. One of my favorite places in the Bahamas. And we look at what is happening in Abacos today, and you wonder, how is this being allowed to happen? We all have heard all of the complaints about the proliferation of shanty towns and people just, in spite of court orders, just building like, there's no tomorrow, giving the middle finger to the judicial system, treating the rest of us like they're stupid. I can't see the wrong that they're doing. But now we have another problem on top of that, where now these people are setting up these makeshift businesses all over the place and not, once again, paying any attention to the law or the rule of law. It's just a free fall. So Daphne, I know that you are a staple member of the community of Abacos. How are you all managing over there with all of this obvious lawlessness that's happening? How is that impacting the persons from Abacos or residents in Abacos who are trying to do the right thing?
Well, Michelle, it's very frustrating because, for one, as Bahamians, we feel, all Bahamians feel, or I would say most Bahamians feel, that they are now at a disadvantage because we are not allowed to do the things that the the unregulated persons are getting away with without any repercussion. For instance, if I go and just build something willy-nilly
Mhm.
and not adhere to the law, then the law can easily come after me and force me to be compliant or pay fines or pay whatever penalties there are,
Mhm.
repossess my property or whatever. But here it is, other persons who are not regulated are being allowed to get away with it. We have many Bahamian property owners who were very much affected by Dorian, who
Mhm.
didn't have reserves, who didn't have funds readily available to take advantage of Sayre's concessions and all of that. It's one thing to give persons concessions, but without the funds to be able to take advantage of it, it doesn't mean anything. Now that persons may have generated income over the past 4 years and been able to save a bit,
Mhm.
they still have to go and they can still go and apply and ask for the concessions, but it's not an automatic. This is one of the things that I had been trying to push for, that these concessions be extended for an
Mhm.
additional 3 years.
Right.
The government didn't see fit to do that, but did say
Mhm.
that we could continue to apply for extensions on a one-on-one basis. And I know persons who have done that and have been granted extensions. So I
Mhm.
am very happy in those cases. Unfortunately, when people didn't have the money, they didn't apply for the concessions because they didn't see how the heck they were going to get through just trying to feed their families and live without any income.
Right.
And so they didn't apply within the time period that they should have applied, but still concessions should be considered and granted to those legitimate, desperate persons,
Mhm.
Bahamians,
Mhm.
you know. Um, then to go back to your actual question, your original question, when you allow a person to break one law without any consequence, you open the door for them to be feeling as though they can break all or any laws
Right.
because no consequences will be suffered there again.
Mhm.
And that has given way to a whole mindset of many of these, unregulated residents on the island to do just as they please and compete with legitimate Bahamian businesses in every way that they feel, that they see that they can do so. And of course, they can do so at a reduced cost because they're not paying license fees, they're not paying national insurance, they're not having the business expenses that
Mhm.
legitimate businesses have. So they can undercut them. Again, there's an unfair advantage they have over a legitimate Bahamian business.
Where are the authorities?
Good question. I know for a fact that there are police who are trying to enforce the law
Wait. Did you
and
just say
having,
police
and
are trying to enforce the law?
yes, trying to enforce the law and having challenges with these very same people.
Challenges from whom?
Um, I suppose the powers that be, let me say, I don't know. Obviously, they can't come out and say Michelle Malcolm is stopping me from doing this or anybody else or Daphne's stopping me. They can't call names.
Mm-hmm.
But they have expressed frustration, the same as you and I would express, because remember, when they take their uniforms off at the end of the day, they Bahamian just like you and me.
Mm-hmm.
And they see the injustices, and they themselves are having challenges with trying to build a house, raise a family, etc. So while we shouldn't just blanketly point a finger at any particular agency, police, for instance, or immigration, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
we have to remember that they are working under restraints. One example, there is a police officer that came here shortly after Dorian, and she was instrumental in trying to put a stop to the illegal building
Mm-hmm.
in the shanty. Well, in the new illegal subdivisions, I have to call them, because they ain't shanty towns. Let me tell you. Okay.
Now we seen these, thanks to Kai, of the duplex and triplex and all the other plexes that are going up, and yeah, we've seen them.
Yeah. So hang on 1 minute. So when she first discovered what was going on, there were 5 structures
Mm-hmm.
in this particular area. Then the courts put a stop to that,
Mm-hmm.
thanks to the human rights or whatever, these people who don't have to live with the consequences. Then by the time she went back in the same area over not such a long period of time, where there were 5, there are now 300 houses. And the courts gave permission for 2 to be taken down.
Mm-hmm.
2 of the 300. Now, keep in mind that not only are these houses illegally constructed, they are on land that has no cesspit, no well of their own, as far as I know, no power, legal power,
Mm-hmm.
and all of their waste is going into our water table.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know from time immemorial, I've always been an advocate for our water safety. Okay? As a
Mm-hmm.
certified organic farmer, I realize the value of clean water. And I also understand that when you draw a line on my boundary next to your boundary, it only stops at surface level. Sorry, I'm moving all around, but I can't find a right place to be. But you know, when you draw that boundary, it stops at the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Under us, we all are sharing one pool of water. So what goes on under the ground in their unregulated residences is the same water that's going to seep out under the regulated subdivisions.
Mm-hmm.
And that is scary, because now we're looking at health risk.
Contaminated
And I don't
water.
know how much attention is being paid to the health risks
Mm-hmm.
that these unregulated residences are creating. That is a big concern of mine, and should be a big concern of the government.
So I'm sure you recall the days when Abaco was at its height in terms of just the picturesque beauty and the vibrant economy. I mean, Abaco was one of the chain of islands to be envied in the Bahamas, based on everything that I would have mentioned so far, the beauty, the economy, the vibrancy. It was just a special place. And yes, Abaco was hit with a devastating storm, Dorian. We all know that. And obviously, I mean, I had an opportunity to travel to the island, I think 3 weeks after the storm passed, and I was so traumatized by what I saw. 3 weeks later, I can only imagine the trauma of going through that, surviving that. Because 3 weeks later was still enough to shake me to my core. So we know that there will be a long road to recovery. But that notwithstanding, you have no control over a natural disaster. All you can do is pick up the pieces thereafter.
Right.
But you do have control over what appears to be, as you described it, outright lawlessness that is being allowed to happen on the island, where people, either by choice or by directive, who are supposed to be the gatekeepers, are turning their heads and looking the other way. Meanwhile, what was once a jewel in the crown of the archipelago of the Bahama Islands is now being allowed to be overrun by people who have no legal right to be there, people who have obviously no respect for our laws, people who are almost acting as if they are entitled to be there, because from what I'm hearing and seeing, their attitude is, I dare you to come and take down the structure I built. And I guess the attitude is the same as it relates to these illegal businesses that are popping up all over the place. And you have to wonder, is it how powerful is this lobby that our authorities would allow for one of the jewels of the crown of the Bahamas to be so destroyed to the point where it's being, like I said, you have no control over the natural disaster. But on top of that, you are allowing another disaster to take the place of the natural one. What kind of lobbying is going on to allow the stakeholders, the gatekeepers, whose job it is to watch out for the welfare of our islands and our people, to turn their heads to this? Because, everybody can see what's happening with the shanty towns. I mean, it's ridiculous. But now you're telling me these people popping up at businesses all over the place, unregulated, and are putting legitimate Bahamian businesses at a disadvantage. And I guess you all dare not say nothing to them, because if the authorities ain't saying nothing, who the hell are you?
Well, Michelle, there are a couple of things I want to just clarify. One is, and I'm glad that I'm on this show today and not Kai, because as much as I appreciate the risk that Kai takes to expose many issues that are going on, I saw the video clip that Kai put out about the brawl on Guana Key recently, related to these, I guess, these taxi people taking people to the ferry.
Right.
And I was called by a radio station to make a comment. I hadn't got all the details. So I watched a 5-minute surveillance camera clip, 5 minutes in its entirety. And from that, I was able to see, first of all, actually, it was the foreigner who made the first physical action, where he put a young woman who was being belligerent or whatever on a stronghold. And the Bahamian males obviously reacted to that.
Right, right. I
But
did
they,
eventually see that video as well, the
yeah,
full thing.
but they didn't make the first move.
Yes.
And even once they had been pulled apart, if you remember, the foreigner continually taunted them and went after them until they body slammed him. And even after they body slammed him, he got up and went after them again. He obviously looked like some sort of military person. It was a case, in my opinion, it was a case of too much alcohol, too much heat, too much testosterone.
Right.
So I don't want that particular incident to be blown out of proportion and for that to shed as bad a light on Abaco and Guanaki in particular as it could do.
Right.
The other thing I would like to say is that I don't necessarily blame the illegals. I really don't blame the illegals at all. Because let's face it, you and I living in Haiti, and we risk our lives to come over here by boat to do better for ourselves or our families.
Right.
We can't blame them. We cannot blame them. Who I blame are the Bahamians who support them and the foreigners. So I don't know if you're aware, but Abaco Chamber of Commerce put out an information flyer related to immigration and the law as relates to foreign nationals being employed. And we circulated it everywhere we could possibly circulate it. We held a power breakfast where we invited the public to come and question immigration, and the police were both invited to address the public and clarify what the law really is. But the expatriate resident has the impression, or they feel justified in hiring persons who are under other persons' work permits or persons who don't have work permits at all, and they feel like they are helping the disadvantaged. They feel like they are helping a race that's being persecuted by Bahamians who are not being given a fair chance. So just like the NGOs did when they came after Dorian, they totally ignored the needs of the middle class Abaconian families because they said they had the means. Mind you, these people ain't had copper, you know. They had the means to take care of themselves. So they took care of the illegals, gave them everything, provided everything for them. And again, Bahamians were left out in a lot of cases. All of this from Dorian time, the reason I'm bringing it up is that from that time, there's been a building resentment towards those persons who are getting the free ticket over the Bahamian who has the natural right to every privilege in this country and should have over anyone else. And the Human Rights Association and the world observers could say all they want to say about, oh, we need to protect them and we need to help them. I mean, every one of those persons cost us money. They have to be repatriated and they come back. You have to be re-repatriated. They have to be fed. They have to be housed. Their children go to our schools. If you take a census, I wouldn't be surprised that there are more Haitian children in the local schools, the public schools, than Bahamian.
I have heard that.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I hate to say it, but the the population, the resident population of unregulated persons
Mm-hmm.
outnumbers the regulated persons.
I've heard that as well.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't just a little problem that needs fixing. This is a huge problem that needs addressing in a very real way. Another thing I'm going to bring up that is disheartening to the Abaco business community
Mm-hmm.
is that many businesses have scrapped and have managed to rebuild their businesses and try to harbor the renewed look that it needs to attract foreign investors, visitors, etc. But there are a number of businesses that have left their buildings in exactly the same condition that Dorian left them.
Mm-hmm.
And prominent businesses that I don't feel come under the category of can't afford to. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And when I raised issue with one business in particular, I'm not going to call the name, although I would love to. And I asked them, would you please tear your building down or remodel it or do something with it? The response was, we are waiting until the economic climate justifies the expense. And I tell you what, that really hurt. That really hurt. Because that business has the means, and has the means. They made plenty money on this island. They're a Nassau-based company, I'll say that much.
Mm-hmm.
They made plenty money on this island. And they are waiting for the Abaco business community to warrant their spending money that they made here
Mm-hmm.
to rebuild their building. That's the attitude that people have. They don't care that we have to pass that building every day and be reminded of the devastation. They don't care that new visitors come to this island and look around and think, whoa, these people don't take care of their home. What kind of place is this? They don't remember Dorian. They don't even know who Dorian was. These are people coming on vacation or people coming to look to invest, buy another home. And this is what they're faced with.
Wow.
It's disgusting.
This is really sad
It's
to hear.
disgusting.
Honestly, it's very, very sad to hear. Um, I just it's frustrating because, like I said, it's not like Abaco prior to Dorian was some deserted island, like many of our islands that have very, very little population or activity or anything. Abaco was a gem, the Abacos, an absolute gem. And we know that there have been successive hurricanes that have negatively impacted the Abaco chain. Um, None, obviously, at the level of a Dorian. However, Abaconians have been able to bounce back, very resilient people, and they've been able to withstand storm after storm and rebuild and bounce back and get Abaco back to where it was prior to the passage of the storm. But this is another kind of storm. This is a completely different kind of storm.
Yeah.
And
Now
it's
I don't,
just, go ahead.
Michelle. I before I go, let this go any further. I don't want to not say how proud we are
Yes.
of the businesses that have rebuilt
Mm-hmm.
and rebuilt beautifully. Okay, Marsh Harbor is being those persons who have rebuilt obviously with better hurricane standards, with you put in, I don't know how elevated you could get to
Mm-hmm.
deal with the rising waters and the potential of flooding again.
Right.
But beautiful buildings have come out of it. And at the end of the day, I am going to say that Abaco is going to be a better destination than it was prior to Dorian, without question. It's only that 10%, or maybe it's 15 or 20% of persons who have not done the repairs, that they make such a negative impact on those persons who have rebuilt. You know, that is the big problem. I have spoken with the members of parliament. The end of last year was told that the government, because local government don't have the funds to do it, they can't clear down the properties. It has to be done by national government. It's a very simple solution. Give the people notice. They should have been given notice from January, 6 months notice, to do something about their properties. At this point now, what are we in? July? I'm going to petition again for the government to give them notice by December 31st. If their properties have not been cleared and have not been restored or whatever, the government needs to come in, bulldoze them, put a lien on their property. And if they want to do anything from that point on, they want to conduct any business from that point on, they've got to negotiate repayment of that cost to the government in order to do so. It's very simple. It's a very simple thing. It just requires the commitment of the national government to support us in this cleanup exercise. They can tax us in every other way.
Right.
Right now, I'm trying to finish my my VAT taxes. I said, we are just unpaid civil servants.
This is just so sad to hear, and I'm glad to hear that that there are those who are committed to rebuilding and ensuring that Abaco returns to its glory days. But yet you have a system that seems to be working against you as you try to do so, and that is what is so disheartening to hear. We're going to take a quick break. For those of you who are tuning in, who have tuned in late, we're talking to the Abaco head of the Abaco Chamber of Commerce about the lawlessness that is happening on the island as it relates to all of these businesses popping up all over the place and all these other challenges that are happening unregulated, of course, and the disadvantage that it's placing Bahamians under. So we'll have more on this conversation on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim fix and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company. I don't know what's going on with the internet. Both my guests, well, I see Daphne is now trying to get back on, so let's see if I can get her back in the stream. I keep getting knocked off on my personal device. Our third guest is also having a problem getting on, so I don't know what's going on. But hopefully we can get them both on and staying on stable. In the meantime, if you'd like to be a part of the show this afternoon, but before I throw the numbers, I just want to have a call on the line. Let's go to the caller. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Ms. Malcolm,
Mm-hmm.
good afternoon, ma'am. When we look at the lawlessness in Abacos, you cannot tell me those you got, first of all, who property these houses is on. The property got owned by somebody. The inspectors, builders inspectors, that's supposed to be in Abacos, that ride around through maybe how Abacos is. And you can tell me, nobody see these buildings going up.
Oh, they see them. They just pretended not to see them.
They have to get light. Who gives them the current? Who hooked them up?
Well, from what I understand, I believe still to be the case in the shanty towns, is that they generate their own electricity with very large scale generators, and then they just hook up, from generator to generator, etc. I mean, house to house, etc. Daphne says Daphne, you can go ahead and respond,
Yeah, the land is owned by the crown. In most cases, it belongs to us, the Bahamian people.
Oh, so if the land is owned by us, and you can tell me the leaders, what kind of country this is? See, those people, that's the way they live They live jam up together. They don't care where they build. They don't care where they sell their goods. And you come into another country and you can tell me the leaders of this land to allow the people them to do what they want to do. And if I were to just go build a wall in the front of my yard, the inspector will be there before sunset because my neighbor gonna look to see if I have any permit, and they gonna call the people. So what? That means that could have been a terrorist cycle right there, and nobody know nothing. Everybody just pass by, just see these things going up, and who cares? It's too. This cannot happen. I don't know. Just have to straighten up, and government after government, these things happen because why? Sometimes it benefit this government, then the next one come in, it benefit them, and everybody shed their eyes and stuff like that. And then when it happened, nobody want to do nothing about it. So what happened? The small people gotta be making all the noise because it's like they ain't hearing us. They's not hearing us, and it's really bad because why? We need somebody to really stand up and say it ain't gonna happen here. It cannot happen. Thank you, Ms. Malcolm.
Thank you for calling. Daphne, I have a question that's coming in from Facebook. One of the Facebook viewers is asking the question, are they illegal immigrant businesses or are they Bahamian opening up businesses illegally?
For the better part, it is illegal immigrants opening up businesses. That is the problem. That is the issue, the real issue. Like the gentleman that called in said, if a Bahamian does something wrong, another Bahamian's going to report it. They're going to find out. They're not going to get away with it. They might get away with it for a short time, but they're not going to get away with it for a long time. So I would say, to answer the Facebook question, it's primarily illegal business that is the major concern.
And what type of businesses are going up illegally from your observation?
Restaurants. They got restaurants. They got their own little banking system going. They got barbershops. They got grocery shops. They got clothing shops. They're selling food. Any number of businesses, whatever you think a Bahamian would open. I mean, they're not. They running everything. They running anything that they need, anything that they would need to spend money on. They find a way to spend money within their community.
And these aren't businesses that are built within the shanty towns. You're talking outside of the shanty towns, correct?
In and out. In and out. I'll tell you, that same police officer that I was talking about, they set up a barricade at the opening of the shanty town, which I prefer to call the new subdivision because it really ain't shanty. And the lady, a Haitian national came and she wanted to go through, and she said, no, we got this blocked off. You can't go through. It's locked off. She says, but I need to get into the shop. I need to get to the shop. So she needed to get in to go to the shop, and she expected the police officer to let her in so she could go in to go to the shop. That's just how bold they are.
And I'm assuming that they are obviously supporting their own businesses first before they would go and support a business owned by a local Bahamian, correct?
Correct. But they are supporting the food stores, for instance. They're supporting the food stores. But there's a lot of trading going on, and we have a lot of boats going back and forth between here and Haiti. I never heard of a boat leaving the Bahamas, going to Haiti, loaded with a whole bunch of stuff, being checked or, even regulated. I don't know. I only hear about boats coming in with illegals. Maybe they're getting caught and getting raided.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of cargo. Well, maybe not as much now, but there certainly was a lot of cargo post-Dorian that left this island directed to Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
And when we questioned the boat captains about, the legality of them being able to take these things, and shouldn't they have to prove that they own these things? No regulations. Nothing was checked. And I can tell you, I saw goods packed on boats headed to Haiti that had materials that had been obviously acquired from sources. They say, oh, well, property owners gave it to them and things like that. There was a lot of that going on.
Well, obviously, with all of the chaos that took place with Dorian, it was clearly a free for all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in more ways than one. We saw the same thing happen in the United States when Katrina passed. There was absolute, lawlessness.
Yeah.
In New Orleans, for instance.
Yeah.
I remember watching an interview with the police officer there, and the police officer actually said, well, if you want to commit murder in New Orleans, this is a good time to do it, because we may never get around to trying to solve it, but with all the madness and chaos that was going on. He said, if you want to kill somebody, this is the time to do it. I'm like, wow. It was just absolute lawlessness. But eventually, they got things under control, and law and order was returned to New Orleans. Here on our end, not only are we not saying the law and order returned, but it seems that the will to make sure that law and order are returned is not there. Or, like I said earlier, there's a very strong lobby going on somewhere where the relevant authorities and gatekeepers are being instructed not to do what they're supposed to do. And I have no evidence of that. I'm just speaking as an observer, watching what is happening, not just in the Abacos, but elsewhere in the Bahamas, where authorities are, in some cases, showing up on scenes and telling you, you have to stop. You have no right to tell these people they got to move. I talk about illegal people now, people here illegally. So, it's just madness. It's absolute madness. And like I said, at least with Katrina, eventually they were able to restore law and order. But if you have the very persons who are responsible for maintaining law and order with their proverbial hands tied, what hope do you have for the future of Abaco as the head of the Chamber of Commerce? I want you to think on that. But first, we're going to take this commercial break. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk about this. What kind of hope is there in Abaco for getting back to the place where it could be considered a jewel in the crown of the Bahamas without all of this lawlessness? And just all out, they just ain't checking. They got free fall, doing what they want to do. And meanwhile, we got people, who's supposed to be the gatekeepers, playing games with smoke and mirrors, trying to convince the rest of us that we ain't really seeing what we're seeing. It's absolute madness. We're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GBS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. but it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, pinch, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Black is love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company. Today we're talking about lawlessness in Abaco, and we have with us the head of the Abaco Chamber of Commerce. Before we bring Daphne back, let's throw out the telephone numbers and contacts for you to be able to join in on the conversation. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271. 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. Those are the numbers to call in. If you want to call or text us free of charge, there's WhatsApp. And the number for WhatsApp is 8010271, 8010271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm Facebook and Global 99.5 FM pages, also coming to you live on our YouTube channels. We are on Cable Bahamas Channel 974, and you can reach us by radio. You can listen in by radio, 99.5 FM on the dial here in New Providence, and also a huge welcome to our audience from Grand Bahama. So I want to read a couple of the messages that we're receiving via WhatsApp and Facebook. So this person says, this is a WhatsApp message: the lawlessness in this country starts at the top, and the Keith Bell Racine incident shows that, but the Almighty God will fix all of this with open shame and disgrace. Okay. We have another message coming in. Coming in again on our WhatsApp line. It says the problem with Abaco is the rich white people hire the Haitians for cheap labor. Now the chickens come home to roost. Now they blame the government and they don't want to take no blame. If Dorian didn't happen, you think these people would have been slapping up with Haitians? Now they bring in all these Haitians now complaining. One time ago, if you touch one of these Abaco rich people, Haitians used to say, "Don't touch my Haitian." Okay. Um, all right, let's see what we have going on. Well, there's one more message coming in on WhatsApp. It says most rich Abaco people are to blame. If you don't hire them, we wouldn't have this problem. Okay, let's see what's being said by our Facebook audience. Got quite a few comments here on Facebook. All right, let's see what we're doing. Okay, so Loretta says our leaders encouraging these outsiders right now. We don't know who is in this country. Bernadette says, I bet they are not paying duty on goods they import into the Bahamas, particularly from Haiti. Loretta says they have planned for this country, and the government seems like our leaders turning a blind eye. Let's see. We have another comment coming in from Dillis, who says, if you have corrupt leaders leading the nation, what more you expect? And we have a comment from Bertha saying, Bahamians need to learn from the Haitians and start supporting each other. Bahamians will call the law on each other, but will watch the Haitians doing wrong and wouldn't call the law on them. Stop just talking and do something about it. It's more of us out there than those 40 plus members of parliament. Rise up, Bahamas. Let's support each other. I see you nodding your head.
Amen.
What are your thoughts?
I'm saying amen to her. In the break, you asked me a question about Abaco, and I wrote down a few notes, things that I wanted to say, and that lady touched on it in a very simple way. But you asked me what hope we have for Abaco.
Right.
The hope has got to be in the Bahamian people. Okay? We have got to stop sitting back, waiting, and for someone else to go and do for us, for the government, your MP, whoever, whoever. This buck stops with us. Each one of us has got to get up, stand up, and do something if we want something done. If we want to see change, we got to stop speaking about it. We got to just stop complaining about things. We have to hit your MP and your government. If you want to say you have a corrupt government, a corrupt MP, well, we put them there. And we as Bahamian people, if we don't like it, we need to get up and we need to say something about it. But we don't stand together. We're the first ones to let each other down. How often are you going to have people who are going to get up and they'll say, oh yeah, I'm with you, I'm with you, I'm with you. And then when you get up, you stand and look around and you're all on your own. Because everybody else sitting in their house, comfortable in their air condition, as long as they could afford to pay for it. And then waiting for somebody else to go fight their battle. And talk about a blind eye. We're the ones turning the blind eye. And don't start complaining about the rich white Abaconians. There ain't too many rich white Abaconians, okay? Dorian leveled the playing field on a lot of people. Even those who you thought were the rich that would never fall down. They didn't think they needed insurance. When they lost their house, their business, and everything else, that playing field was leveled. And we got to stop. Okay, so if you got rich Abaconians, they support those less rich. If we don't have them, nobody stands up. Nobody moves forward. They complain about even the foreigners who come in and they could build. One of the issues the government had with SARS was that foreigners were allowed to take advantage of that to build new resorts and build homes, maybe even homes that weren't destroyed. They may have taken advantage of it and built 2 houses back instead of 1. But guess what? If they didn't build the 2 houses back, where were the visitors going to stay? Where were people going to live? How were people going to get hired? Where were the jobs going to come from?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I said to Minister Halkidas, okay, so you're going to cut off your nose because you think you're losing the VAT money somewhere. But you're actually losing the revenue that's going to be generated from these people spending the money and investing in the country. The government wasn't doing it. They didn't have the money to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had to do it. The Keys are beautiful, booming. We got great business going on in Abaco right now. And I just came back from Freeport yesterday. And I got to tell you, Grand Bahama has had so many hard licks. I drive around and Grand Bahama has the infrastructure there. Ever since I got out of business there, I don't understand what is holding Grand Bahama back. This little bickering between the Port Authority and the government, they need to get their act together. The business community there are almost worse off than the Abaco business community because we're not being strangled by 2 governments.
Right.
You know? But at the end of the day, I'm speaking to Abaconians now.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody in earshot, I want to say, join the Abaco Chamber of Commerce. It's $100 a year. That's it. $100 a year. abacochamber.org. You can go online. You can join. But share your voice with the chamber. When I open my mouth, I always tell the news reporters, don't say it's Daphne speaking. I'm speaking for the chamber. I represent a group of businesses. But if I represent 20 businesses or if I represent 1,000 businesses, it has a greater impact on government. And they do pay attention. We lost a golden opportunity in Abaco after Dorian to not have a master plan drawn where you can't just open a juk shop here and a juk shop there. Where we could have had sidewalks, paving from the airport to the ferry dock. The infrastructure could have been so greatly improved. Plant trees. You know, beautify the island. Golden opportunity lost by people just sitting back, waiting for other people to take care and to do. I don't know.
Is it too late to do that? I mean, you know, we as a people are seeing. I mean, it's almost like our administrators are allergic to planning. And I agree with you that whenever there is some kind of, you know, disaster, that there's an opportunity within that.
Absolutely.
This could have been seen as an opportunity, like you said, to revisit a plan, lay out something that is absolutely better than what was there before, and use this opportunity to make that happen. But yet, once again, we ain't planning.
We are a reactive people. We are not proactive. And that goes from the government straight down. We just react.
Right.
We just, you know, it's like all these new systems that they're putting in place. They're putting the cart in front of the horse. They want to everything. They want everything to be automatic. But they don't give a grace period for all these new systems to be weaned in. Give a 12-month period. People who are savvy can get online, go electronic, do everything. Great. Those who are not should be given a grace period that they can learn. Some people don't have computers, don't have access. The power's on and off. You know, senior citizens aren't savvy. This whole customs claims thing when you're coming into the country, filing business licenses, customs entries. You know, at the very least, I say they should have an office in the government complex, which I think finally now is open 24 hours, all day, normal working hours. We've been
Okay.
operating on a half-day schedule, I don't know, forever. Another ridiculous thing. And they should have a IT office where persons who need assistance can go there, and someone is trained to give assistance, and computers are there, and the people can go online and learn how to implement these new systems. It's so simple. Our education seems to be at the lowest rung of the ladder. You want to make people do things. You want to give them a 1 week deadline or a ridiculous deadline to comply. And then when they look for help, they can't get it. Oh, go online and get it. Well, if they could go online and get it, they'd have been able to figure it out in the first place.
Right.
I'm talking about people who don't have that opportunity.
Right.
You know, government needs to be more engaging with their citizens. Not just dictating, but engage. Provide the tools for people to learn.
I want to read another comment coming in on our WhatsApp line. It says, we Bahamians complain so much about the Haitians, but don't want to take any blame. Who's hiring them? Who renting to them? Bahamians, the shanty towns, you think them people building for free? Bahamians renting and leasing land to these people. We have much blame. I'm not sure what that last word is supposed to be. But, you know, the texter has a point. I've often said, you know, people are getting upset over, like, I'll use fish fry as an example. People are complaining that, oh, fish fry, you know, you could hardly go anywhere without hearing Creole and this and the next. And they're angry. But like you said earlier, why are you blaming them? Bahamians were there. So in order for that now to have been taken over, as people say it has been, why be angry at them when Bahamians were there? Clearly, someone had to compromise. Someone had to sell out. So in many ways, I agree with you. It's misplaced anger. You can't get vexed with them for doing whatever they need to do to improve their livelihood, their way of life, when your authorities turning a blind eye, nobody checking, Bahamians selling out long as they could make a couple dollars here and there, making it easy for them. It's misplaced anger. Why are we not doing more as a collective? Because I agree with you 1,000% there. You know, people like to, we need to do something, but they want to sit back and watch a movie and eat popcorn while you put your neck on the line to do what they say we need to do. And then when, you know, obviously there's strength in numbers. So when you go it alone, you put yourself at great risk. Whereas if you had all come together as a united force, you'd be far more effective and far more powerful. I know oftentimes in wedding ceremonies, for instance, they have this thing called the three strand rope ceremony. That may not be what it's called, but they demonstrate where if you get a 3-pronged rope and you plait that, it's a lot stronger than an individual piece of rope, because you would have intertwined 3 together, and the whole concept is husband, wife, and God in the midst. Much stronger than husband standing alone or wife standing alone. Well, if that is true, if that is a great analogy for life, common sense should tell you that there is greater strength in numbers. This is why you made the point about the fact that when you speak on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, because you're lobbying now for a group of people, a group of businesses, as opposed to Daphne only speaking for Abaco name. There's
Exactly.
greater power in numbers. But
Mhm.
we as a people want to sit back, eat popcorn, watch movie cut, and then when the one person who decides to be brave and stand up and say, no, right is right and wrong is wrong, when obviously they come at that one person because they realize that one person doesn't have the backing of the crowd. Oh boy, Daphne, they wrong for treating you like that. But what you
Mhm.
doing about it?
Ain't
So
nobody got my back.
nobody. So it's misplaced anger. And quite
You,
frankly, a whole lot of hypocrisy because we say we want to change. Everybody complaining
don't
and
want to do
bickering and
nothing about
carrying
it.
on. But ain't nobody want to do nothing about it.
No, no.
We want to
Michelle, I
stand
gotta.
by and blame the illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody want to take action to do nothing about it.
No, and you know what, Michelle? I'm going to go back to a point that you or one of the callers, somebody said, but we don't want to learn from the Haitians. You know, you Chinese people. Wherever you see Chinese people, they're successful because they all work together.
Yes.
Again, support each other.
Yes.
Haitians doing the same. Bahamians, what do? First thing we're going to do is criticize you. Oh, she only got that on her menu. She only got that in her shop. Look at what we criticize negatively, not constructively. We don't support. We go jump across the waters to go buy everything we can out of the country instead of buying here locally. Don't support Bahamians. And I want you to take, if you could, every government school, find out what percentage of the persons in the graduating classes with the above average, or let's say a B and above grade scale. I don't know what they're using now. What percentage of those are Bahamian and what percentage of those are Haitian? Guarantee you, valedictorian, the ones that are excelling, I would put money on the fact that a greater portion of those are Haitian. Because you know why? Those parents, I don't care what they do, they can make sure their children get educated.
Yes.
They could go to school for free. They could get the uniforms. They could get on the bus. They could ride there. They could get them there to school. And they're going to make sure that they do well because that's their way out of the hole.
They
Whereas
understand
the Bahamian parents, they're not doing the same thing.
No.
They're not investing that time. And I'm not speaking about everyone. I'm generalizing. Okay? Which I really don't like to do. But it came to my attention about how many persons that are students that are excelling are the foreign nationals, not the Bahamians, because we are not paying attention to our own. We're so busy looking at what they are doing, we're not paying attention to our own. And that's where we are wrong.
Yeah, we're busy fighting teachers when they try to discipline our rural children.
Exactly.
It's really sad to watch. And you are absolutely right. The reason why they excel is because their parents understand the value of that education and they making sure their children take advantage of it. Whereas in many cases, Bahamian children are, for all intents and purposes, on their own. Nobody checking for their homework, nobody making sure that they are in school, doing well, etc. But the minute that child comes home with some kind of disciplinary problem, then we won't pick up and fight and carry on like a bunch of anyhow
ignorance.
Ignorant, untrained idiots. Yes, I said it. We got to do better. The
Discipline.
foolishness.
There's nothing wrong with discipline. And the other thing that we're not teaching our children is about budgeting. We are in the most challenging economic times that I, in my short young life, have experienced. And I was just saying to my husband the other day, seems like the older we get, the harder we got to work. We're working just as hard now. I'm working harder now than I was working probably 20 years ago. I don't know. And thank God I'm healthy and it's keeping me healthy. I'm not complaining about having to work because God knows sitting down and getting fat ain't good for you. It's that'll kill you, put you in a grave.
Right.
That's not what I want to do. At least I'm enjoying what I'm doing. You know, I love what I do. But we don't teach our children about budgeting. We let them believe that they should be wearing all the name brands and that they can afford all these things that they can't afford. We don't give them any sense of what value things have. And we're disposable. Okay, so diet. Let's just say diet, for example. You know, you and I are always on health kicks.
Yeah.
And promoting health. But they could buy the cheap lunch package and the things that the French fries and the nuggets I don't even think they have chicken in them anyhow. That they're going to fill their bodies with, bloat them up. All it's doing is blowing them up and making them fat and making them sick. That then they're going to end up spending the same money that they could have spent on good quality food, cooking a turkey or cooking a whole chicken that they could get meals out of. Make a sandwich. Nobody packs a sandwich anymore. When we went to school, we had lunch boxes. These children take lunch boxes anymore? Or they just take fast food packs? Or their parents drive there and bring them these little fast food snacks. I haven't been to school in so many years. I don't know what they carry anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they carry the lunchbox anymore.
But when I went to school, okay, and I came from what they would have considered a privileged family, I took peanut butter and jelly. Crunchy peanut butter, Peter Pan with grape jelly, or I took tuna fish, and every now and again I'd take egg salad sandwich. That was my to-go lunch. Maybe a bag of chips and juice. Okay, and an apple maybe. Okay? These kids today, they want snack food, dry, fried up food. And if they buy the food in the school, it's all fried up stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure, those lunch boxes when I was growing up, you had to have, like you say, your little fruit, fresh fruit, maybe a sandwich. It was balanced.
Yeah. And you went to school with the little something grits and sardine or something in your belly.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just unfortunate.
We've gotten away from the values that are important. We've gone to this quick fix, easy lifestyle that is costing us too much money. And we're going to need to get back to those basics. I'm sorry, if we want to survive.
We're talking to Daphne Mayolis today about the lawlessness that seems to have taken over Abaco, where we see not just shanty towns, but all kind of unregulated businesses popping up all over the place. And once again, authorities seem to be blind to all this activity. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yeah, hi, Michelle.
Hi.
And your guest from the chamber, Abaco Chamber. Yeah. She has some pertinent points, but I'm listening and my ears are kind of tingling over the comparison. Yeah, our nation has problems, deep-rooted that needs to be sorted through, and that they need to bring God in on, right? But I'm listening to her, and I have this sense of the comparison leaning a little bit more to the illegal or the immigrant being almost not so much to blame. And I don't know I don't know. A number or a comparison with the natives and the immigrants there seemed to put, I think I said as much, I'm not sure. Can't remember clearly, but I remember a comparison being made with the comparison of natives to immigrants on that island being like a native 1 to 10 immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pressure on, I would say, our people,
Mm-hmm.
on our children, because that's reflective of the society there,
Right.
the workforce, the schools, right? The only thing that shouldn't be so much affected is government, but then who's to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so our citizens are outnumbered 10 to 1. And I don't know if she understands the pressure that puts on someone living there. I mean,
She
she's
lives
living
there. She's
she
from
lives
up.
there. I'm
Yeah.
saying that. I'm saying that. I'm saying she lives there.
Right.
But I'm trying to figure out, because who is being hired in these jobs? You know, she's saying about the schools and our students and their students being more hard studied and all that. And there probably is some truth to that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're utilizing whatever level of migrant it is, whether it's illegal or brought in, work permitted and increasing in numbers and so on. And they're using systems that they wouldn't have been privy to maybe in their line in such a way, free and all that. And they're overwhelming our system, which is causing a strain on our children's learning. I mean, there's no defense for people who do not want to improve themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I want her to be aware that the overpopulating or outnumbering of our citizens is having an adverse effect on her island.
What makes you think she's not aware of that?
Because a part of what she's saying in the tone, the underlying tone in which she's saying it, is giving more room to an excuse for the immigrant than for the overwhelming numbers that is happening. And even though she's admitting that there's lawlessness in terms of how it hit businesses that affect her, right, and her realm, which is the head of the chamber, is she's doing all of these deductions about numbers with education, and she can guarantee that these higher levels of learning is happening with the immigrants. Can she say that this lawlessness with these businesses that affect her sector isn't a part of that as well in terms of the immigrants, even though they have businesses in their society? Isn't there also room for overflow in businesses outside of that may be affecting that as well? Let's be sure to say that the lawlessness, even though it looks like they've been given room, is coming a lot from that society, from those people being there, and not just in the business environment that she is, and she's seeing businesses pop up, all right? But remember that first lawlessness is someone coming into your country without permission, stealthily joining in with your society, unaware, until they become aware with numbers and their additions to the population in areas of work and usage of social services that is very lawless and that is pressuring or would pressure any society that opens itself up to that.
Okay.
That's lawless.
I'm going to let Daphne respond, although quite frankly, caller, I am not sure what you heard that gave you that impression, but I will let her respond, and then I'm going to add to her response. Go ahead, Daphne.
Well, actually, Michelle, I don't know where.
Pardon me?
Can I say online?
Yeah, sure.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
Please stay online because I am totally confused. Because first of all, I really do not understand what you're saying, other than the fact that I'm getting the impression that you feel that I am defending the illegals and their actions, which I can tell you straight up, I am not. I do not
It seems
defend
like
them.
you're a bit sympathetic. More than
I
a
am. No. Wait a minute now. I am not being sympathetic. I am
Have
taking.
you ever reported any of their interactions in your nation, in your island?
Excuse me a minute. I let you speak. I never interrupted you. I
Okay.
would like it if you would let me finish a statement before you interrupt me, please. I started off, if you didn't hear the early part of this program, by saying that we Bahamians are our worst enemy. We are responsible. We need to take the blame for allowing this situation to get to the extent that it has gotten to. Because we don't stand up, speak out, or demand our authorities to take action against this illegal activity, against this migration. And like you said, we hire them. I do not. I can assure you, I don't have one single illegal working for me. They are not affecting me personally or my business, but they do affect.
You had a group of businesses.
But they do. But I said, but they do affect.
So have you ever asked them? That's personally.
Michelle, I can't
but you
respond
had a business, a group of companies.
You could take over because I can't.
You had a group of companies.
Caller, let me ask you something. What time did you tune into this show?
I didn't hear the whole bit.
Clearly, you didn't hear the whole bit. And I think that's a part of the problem. Because from the very outset of this show, Daphne made it very clear what her position was. You clearly didn't hear any of that. So you're coming in.
Personal position, Michelle.
No, but you just tell me you ain't hear the whole show.
No, but I'm hearing it now. She gave a summary. I heard her personal concern that she is aware of maybe others, but she herself don't take part in.
Definitely.
She had a group of businesses.
Okay,
what is the point that the lady would like to make? I'd like to know what's the point she'd like to make. Like, I mean, is she attacking me? Is she defending me?
Can I make that point?
Make it real quick, caller. But okay. I do think you're speaking from a position of not having all the information, but go ahead.
No, but I've heard enough to say this. She has defended herself personally, and if she was on a personal standpoint, meaning that she was a business on her own, and she was just righteously upholding the law and not hiring immigrants or illegals or whatever you want to call them, that would be fine. But she's the chairman of the Abacos group of businesses. Has she reached out to them? Has she said to them? Has she expressed to them? Has she taken a survey of them to say, hey, what are you guys doing? Because now you put me in a position of heading you. So let's be real. Let's put all the cards on the table and let's get this thing straight. Let's start with us. Let's look in the mirror for us.
That's why we did that. That's why we did the information about hiring illegals, and we did the training with all of our business owner operators and the general public about what was legal, what was not legal, because nobody in the Abacos Chamber of Commerce, business owners, wants to condone illegal hiring. Period.
I highly recommend that you go and watch the beginning of the show before you comment any further, because much of what you're commenting on, you clearly missed some key information that was shared on this show. So
would she be prepared to release that information to the public to say that much and to be the example for other businesses?
Release what information? The findings of
that she did with her group.
It's right on the Abacos Chamber of Commerce website. You can see I could send it to you, Michelle. You could post it wherever you want. You could post it all over the world.
That would be great.
That would be fine.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling. Let me just say this, and then I got to take a break. Let me just say this.
Geez.
Because people clearly sometimes misunderstand the point that you're trying to make. because Daphne, you and I were trying to make the same point on this show as it relates to misplaced anger.
Mm-hmm.
And I used this analogy before. One of the shows that I love to watch on television is Super Nanny, where you've got this British nanny that goes into a home where the parents are having a hard time controlling their children. And she goes in and she observes, and then she says to the parents, this is what you're doing wrong. This is why this child is out of control, because you're not parenting effectively in these areas. Here is a system that you need to put in place to make these children more manageable. And of course, the children in the beginning rebel and fight against the system as much as is possible because they're children and they want to continue to have their own way and wreak havoc in the home. But as long as the parents follow the example that is set for them by the super nanny, who gives them a plan, by the end of that program, those children are in order. Now, the point that we're trying to make is this. Who are you going to blame for the fact that these children were out of order to begin with? Are you going to blame the children for being rude children, as children will be if they're allowed to be? Or are you going to blame the parents who didn't know how to be proper parents to begin with? So it's pointless for you to watch that program, and at the end of the program you say, I can't stand these rude children. Why are they so rude? And you ain't willing to take a look at the parents who allowed them to get to that place to begin with. I look at a situation in the Bahamas where we got these bunch of uncontrollable children, and people won't be dumping them on the state. Oh, I can take you to the children's the children's home. I can take you to what you call the place now, Simpson Pen. But how they get like that to begin with? Misplaced anger. Because you failed as a parent, and now you want to throw up your hand. It was cute when they were small. You ain't nip it in the bud then. Now they teenagers. And now you want to
They were laughing then, but now they
now
they're just slapping them upside their head.
How they get like that. So the point we're trying to make is, why are you blaming these illegal immigrants for coming here and doing what they're doing when we as a people, when our leaders, when the relevant authorities are supposed to be dealing with this, are turning a blind eye? They ain't nipping in the bud from where it started. Now it's out of control, and everybody, oh, woe is me. How it get like this? That's the point we're trying to make. That's the point that Daphne is trying to make. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, Michelle. How you doing? Alan Johnson. Go to your break, I hope.
No, go ahead, Alan. I'll go to the break after you. Just remember we got a break, right? Because I know you go.
I'm saying, I had a couple of points to make. That's why.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, see Alan Johnson on the line. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the Mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
It's Global Radio 99.5.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global Radio 99.5 FM. Let's go straight to the phone lines where C. Alan Johnson is standing by. Hey, C. Alan.
How you doing, Michelle?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, let me just first say I understand the lady's confusion who called.
Mm-hmm.
Because with all due respect, Daphne, you did switch from a representative position to one of a personal opinion. It wasn't I don't think it was intentional. It was just, what happened, Michelle, is that you shifted into a show, into us a behavior. And then she just basically, Daphne expressed her opinion as what she can do and what can do and what she reflect. So I understand the person's position as seeing her as a representative of the chamber, and then hearing a personal opinion that may not have been reflective, that she thinks that should be reflective of the data or behavior of the collective. So I understand her point. I don't think she was wrong or out of place in that respect. Second, just a point. I want to come some advice for Daphne.
Daphne wants to answer that. Give her a moment.
I just want to ask a question, because the only reason that I shifted, or I clarified, not shifted, but I clarified my personal opinion in there, but she cut me off before I could say. However, as far as the chamber is concerned, I did that because I felt she was coming at me personally. Michelle, you might correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed to me like she was coming at me personally.
Let me run out of time. I'm saying to you, if I was listening from the point, right, that she was, and the way I listened to the shift, I can differentiate the shift, right? I'm saying is that you could even take away that somebody would not have heard that you have a position it's almost like, Michelle, you shifted it into that arena And so I understood that you were speaking from you as a person. So when she came at you, she was coming at you because in the purest context, you did express a personal opinion.
Yeah, but she didn't hear from the beginning of the show.
Right.
When
I didn't take that opinion as being part of that of being the chamber.
Right.
So she was trying to differentiate. Is this year, that why don't you have a full, wholesome position from a chamber rather than a simple personal position? So it's not near there. But just let me make one point before I get to the recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
On the education of parking, I often hear us have this debate about the foreigners dominating the top. But if you actually begin to examine our education system, we talk about the 1, 2, or 3 that accelerate to the top, but we don't talk about the hundreds that actually sit at the bottom, because English is not a native language and all of these various different things that, ESL and other things. And so we look as an example that look at this one individual that make it out, or even we do that with ourselves, or for the ones that excel, when we don't look at the cesspool of an education system that we have developed. Because first of all, knowing that we recognize that we have this problem, just like in other developing countries and developed countries, they have an ESL class, English as a second language class, that gets the children into an environment before they immerse into it. So you have a teacher with 30, 40 students trying to meld teaching a child that's deficient, first of all, in learning. He's learned that 65% of our children from grade 1 are ill-prepared for grade 1 and continue straight to grade 12. So the education system is corrupted, and I understand the examples we use, but I think it's flawed at best. But Daphne, what I want to talk about is the economy.
Mm-hmm.
We need...
Cialan, we only got 3 minutes left.
No, I understand. I'm only going to take one and a half of that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is we need the digitization of the economy.
Mm-hmm.
I understand Abaco economy. I understand Grand Bahama economy. And the digitization of the economy allows the existence in a 21st century environment that doesn't have a dependence on the archaic system of government. Don't mind government talk about digitization. They've been trying from 1968 to digitize government. A digitized economy gives access to resources. It gives access to back office. It gives access to so much different things. The most important thing for Abaco is to give access to funding for the rebuilding of Abaco, more so by building the business infrastructure using tokenization and crowdfunding and these various different things, especially in the tourism economy. That money provides income for the rebuilding of the personal lives of individuals. So if the business community was to become digitized, then the feeder is what they call the multiplier effect, is then becomes into the community where they could then begin to build their lives. And so I'll reach out to Michelle for your contacts, but this is something that you do not need government for. The world has left us behind.
Well, see, Alan, I gotta stop you there because I only got 2 minutes, and I need to give at least one of those to Daphne. But here's the thing, and I know that they know exactly what you just said, but there has been a resistance to digitization, because when you have digitization, you have accountability. And they don't want to be accountable in many instances, because when you're accountable, a lot of the underhanded things that go down, allegedly, where people pocket getting grease, you can't do that in a digitized environment. So this ain't no accident that it's taken so long to happen. It's very much intentional. Daphne, we got less than a minute left in the show. I need you to give me 30 seconds of a closing.
I just want to say that from the Abaco Chamber standpoint, Abaco has rebounded. We will be the jewel of the Bahamas that we once were, and we will be better. All we need is for business owners who have abandoned their properties to clean up their properties and help the community to put the new face on our Marsh Harbor City that it needs. Okay, I don't want to give any impression that we are a completely lawless society here, because we are not. There's a lot of illegal activity going on, but guess what? It's going on all throughout the country. Abaco is not peculiar in that sense.
It's
going on everywhere.
Daphne. I want to thank you so much for being on the show, but I got to go. It's 4 o'clock and we got to get off the air. Thank you so much for
Thank you as well.
appearing on the show today. I'm going to leave you all with something from a WhatsApp viewer. It says, I'm listening now to your show, and we as Bahamians have a lot to do with what's going on in our society. The corruption in this country from our leaders and those in authority that we call honorable are the main reason the Bahamas is losing our identity for a few bucks in their pockets. When Bahamians learn how to come together as a nation and realize that strength is in numbers, then and only then we'll see changes in this Bahama land. I honestly believe that the Bahamas needs a change of governing party because for years both parties have failed the people in this country. You have a wonderful day and continue to do the good job you're doing. Sincerely, Leroy Bull, husband of Justice for Camille Bull. Thank you so much, Leroy, for your comments. Okay, that's it. Got to get out of here. Tomorrow, we have a great show planned for you, Wellness Wednesday. Tune in to learn how you can improve your health and wellness holistically. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Got to get out of here. It's after 4 o'clock. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio.